how did we get here, I guess?
Okay.
With all these unnecessary, I guess, leadership things. Why do we have popes?
I think because, again, on the Roman Empire, Christianity was legalized and also centralized.
Okay.
Where you had it very clearly like a top-down hierarchy.
Okay.
From the Pope in Rome down. Okay. And so, again, it was legalized and it was centralized in power.
Mm-hmm.
So now the Pope has the ultimate power, okay, within the Catholic Church. And so then he has the archbishops that he's meeting with. And anyway, so you've got from the Pope down, it's just kind of layering out. And so to be able to pass down responsibility and those kind of things, a task. And so now, obviously, we won't get into the whole, Protestant Reformation.
Yeah.
That split, when we split from the Catholic Church. And then there was all these new denominations that ended up forming out of the Protestant Reformation. And they all set themselves up in kind of their own unique ways.
Okay. They picked some parts of Catholic and some parts of...
It really depended on kind of where they, where they came out of.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, like, I can speak on, like, the Methodist Church.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I can speak, like, on the Methodist Church because, I'm in a Methodist church now, but it was also my background.
Okay.
For a little while, being in the Methodist Church.
Is there a Methodist Pope?
There's not. There's bishops.
Okay.
So in the United Methodist Church, that is, and I'm not in a United Methodist Church anymore. I'm just in an independent Methodist church. But in the United Methodist Church denomination, there are bishops and of different conferences.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so the conferences are geographical in nature.
Okay.
So like a large state may have 2 conferences in it, for example.
Okay.
All right. And so you've got a bishop that's overseeing that conference.
Okay.
And that bishop will have a cabinet that's helping them make decisions and those kind of things.
Like the president. That's what I said.
Yeah, they do have it kind of like the president. Yeah. So
all right.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. So the bishops and the UMC do have that.
Cool.
Yeah. And then they have district superintendents, which are
what?
Yeah, they have district superintendents, which are like kind of like
that wasn't on the list.
No, kind of like the equivalent of like a cardinal, I guess, a little bit, like overseeing a group of churches.
Okay.
That may be 50 churches, it may be 150 churches. I'm not sure if there's a limit on that or not, but there's district superintendents, and then under them are the pastors or the elders that are there in a local church.
Okay.
So in the United Methodist Church, an ordained pastor is also an ordained elder. Like that's one and the same. Okay.
Oh, so you have to get so in all these things, you can't just be like, God wants me to be a pastor and I went to pastor school. You kind of have to get certified with certificates and
and degrees. Yeah, go to seminary. So now that's different for different churches, right? But the Catholic Church, and then if you go Church of England, Anglican Church, Episcopalian Church, any of the main lines, Lutheran, Presbyterian, United Methodist, they all have to be ordained. And the ordination, part of that ordination is completion of usually like in the Protestant world, it's usually like a Master's of Divinity.
Okay.
Degree. And so you have to have that degree before you can be ordained.
Okay.
Yeah, as an elder or as
that biblical?
Deacon.
That you have to go to classes and get...
No, it's not. It's not biblical in the sense of it says you have to go to classes. However, I do think that training is really important. And that would have come through, so for example, a Jewish teacher, a rabbi, a rabbi would have gone through rabbinical school. Or rabbinical rabbinical training,
right?
And
like an apprenticeship, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where they're taught and they're they're deeply informed in the scriptures, okay, and so they're taught the midrash, how to interpret the scriptures, those kind of things. And so I think in the mainline Protestant world, where your pastors have to have, degrees to pastor, it's kind of that same understanding, like you need to go to be trained. And
Right.
so though it's not biblical, I actually think it's really important.
You can get ordained by just going online and clicking buttons.
Oh, absolutely. You could officiate a wedding tomorrow if you wanted to.
I could.
Yep. Just go in there, get ordained, get your little certificate.
I'm not going to do it, but
No, I wouldn't either. And then, in the United Methodist Church, they also have ordained deacons.
okay.
And so they're able, and so they go through school as well, and through the same ordination track. And then you have what's called local lay pastors.
That wasn't on the list either.
Yeah. Local lay pastors are pastors that have not gone and received a Master of Divinity degree, but are preaching from the pulpit. They usually have gone through a course of study, so, to gain a certificate, to gain some training, and they're serving in like a smaller local church.
Okay.
But and it depends on the denomination, but in the United Methodist Church, if you're not ordained, you cannot serve communion or do baptisms.
Oh.
So like a local lay pastor would not be able to do those things.
You just have random saints serve communion at our church.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So if you become all demon like you're supposed to, could you be the Pope?
All right. So if I get my DMin degree,
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Right. Not that I become this demonic thing. All right. So if I receive my doctorate of ministry, can I become the Pope? No, I cannot become the Pope.
Okay.
Regardless of my degree, I would not be able to become a Pope.
We'd have a bigger podcast if you were the Pope.
So should we pitch the idea for the Pope to do a podcast?
The Pope should do a podcast. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like a 5-hour podcast of him just drooling into the microphone. But people'd listen to it because he's the Pope.
Oh, man. They make so much money off of social media.
Right.
All right. So make the Vatican richer than it already is.
Right. They could build more secret chambers underground for that stuff that they're doing.
That we're not supposed to know about. Yeah. The wink wink type stuff. Yeah.
They could dig that hole to the center of the earth that they've
All right.
Anyway.